me Satan, call me satyr, I'm Carnus, I am Pan. I'm the laughter in the forest, I'm the happy horny one. Dionysos, Cocopelli, Lord of animals, green man. Though it started long ago, my story's just begun. Yeah! See the horns upon my head, the hooves on which I dance. Feel the passion rising up, lose yourself in trance. There are many gods inside your head, and I am only one. Believe me, I'll set you free. To worship me is fun. As I stand for freedom, the forest wild and tame. I'm creative chaos, no, I just cannot be chained. You people think you're different, but to me you're all the same. So if you feel a need of me, you call my name. Call me Satan, call me satyr, I'm Carnus, I am Pan. I'm the laughter in the forest, and the happy horny one. Dionysos, Cocopelli, Lord of animals, green man. Though it started long ago, my story's just begun. Though it started long ago, my story's just begun. Though it started long ago, the story's just begun.
We're actually climbing the dragon. Look at this view. Greetings, Earthlings, and welcome again back to the Earth, or Mudfossil Gaia. So in part 1, respectively, I started with the introduction of Itoi, since that is who the natives here know him as. But apparently this god has been around since the beginning and is known all around the world. Yes, my friends, this is the great horned god. This is Shiva. Shiva even incarnated as the Lord of Animals. So, as I've been connecting the dots, I think I found the story that actually happened right here. So I've been all around this area. I found a few turtle scales that I'm excited to show you, and a few petroglyphs that I think have to do with this story, and I'm real excited to share with you what I think I've learned. Yes, my friends, that right there is the head of Cocopelli. That is absolutely for sure 100% Cocopelli. The churning of the ocean's milk. Here. Right here. It had to be. I mean, there's Shiva in dragon form to consume the hala, right? Here's your elephant. Here's your tortoise that Vishnu had to incarnate as to hold the mountain. And then over there we have the Garuda, the eagle man who brought the mountain here for the churn. It's the only story I know with all these pieces that fit. You know, and it was in a time before time. Let me tell you about a Hindu creation myth called the churning of the ocean milk. In Hindu mythology, it is said that 13 precious objects, including the elixir of immortality called the Amrita, were lost during the churning of the cosmic sea. finding these cherished objects again required cooperation between the gods, devas, and demons, asuras, in an almighty dredging exercise. The scheme required the assistance of the giant serpent Vasuki, who offered himself as a rope to enable the rotating of a churning stick. The churning stick is depicted as Mount Mandala. At some point in the tug-of-war, Mount Mandara begins to sink and has to be supported in an upright position by a giant turtle, an incarnation of the Hindu deity Vishnu. It is said that as the serpent was wrenched back and forth in this titanic tug-of-war that lasted for 1,000 years, the Sea of Milk, or the Ocean of Immortality, is found and released. Many other treasures are also said to have tossed up too. The first thing said to have been released was the hala. There are a few different versions of this story, but in all the versions, Shiva had to consume the hala to save all of creation. The hala is the poison that fills the dragon's veins. So, in order to consume the hala, Shiva had to use his dragon avatar, which is why we see him in this form here right now. So I told you the story in part 1 of how Itoi had to bring up an army from the underworld to destroy the people he had made. Well, coincidentally, Lord Shiva, when he incarnated into Pashupati to destroy the 3 cities of Maya, Pashupati sounds a lot like Iti, or Iti is another way of calling Itoi, Iti, okay? And he is represented as the horned god, the lord of the animals. And so there's your Kokopelli connection. There are pictographs of this guy all over America. So I guess this was Iti, Pashupati, when he came here to destroy the 3 cities of Maya. Another interesting fact is that when Shiva destroys a city, he does so by burning them with his 3rd eye. So I think this is where a lot of that melted building, melted cities, I mean, we really have mountains that used to be cities. I think this could be part of it. Now let me show you what I found over by that turtle. What's crazy about this is where I found it. I found it on the left side of the turtle, and if it was anchored in, that's what it would be. So it's even angled the right way for that side of a scale to be. And when you hold it right there where it anchors, like the weight of the rock completely changes. Like this is a heavy rock, and I can real easily hold it this way, and I can barely even tell it. Like if it was anchored on, I would barely even be able to tell it was there. It's crazy. But you can see here the vein holes right there. Probably another one right over here. And then, you know, all the nerves and tendons attached right there and anchored it right in. Yeah. That is a turtle scale. What do you think, Roger? Turtle scale? I love the way it feels when you hold it like that, though. I can just imagine him walking along and... This is so awesome. Turtle scale. Piece of an avatar of Vishnu. apparently. Crazy. So far, I found 2 more right here on the left side of the turtle again. And these anchor in the same way. Check it out. You hold them on the anchor and you can barely even tell it's there. So here's 2 more on the left side, angled the same way as they would be on that side of the body. 2 more. So the churning of the ocean's milk happened here. Right here. It's the only story I can find with all the characters that fit. Vishnu incarnated as a giant tortoise to hold up the mountain. The mountain was brought in by the eagle man, the Garuda. He carried the mountain from Mount Meru. It was a wedge, a piece of the mountain that they used as the churn. This elephant is the king of elephants. He came out of the ocean when they were churning the ocean. He's one of the great things that came out of the churning of the oceans. Him, along with, I guess there were 8 female and 8 male elephants. And what's really crazy is as I was driving by, right over here, I was looking at the land like, is that a herd? Is that a herd of elephants, I was thinking? And now that I hear this story, I wonder, could that actually be a herd of elephants over here? There could be. Wherever this mountain went, it's obviously not on the tortoise anymore because those are the shapes that a tortoise shell has. All the pieces fit. He's all intact. He's right there. And so where did the mountain go? Well, the dragon is the one that I still am having a hard time trying to figure out, because in the story they say they used Vasuki. Vasuki was the snake that Shiva had wrapped around his neck. In all the pictures of the churning of the oceans, they show them using Shesha, who is the throne of Vishnu. He's the one that's supposed to be holding up the world, actually. And he has many heads, not just one. But the one around Vasuki, the one that Shiva wears around his neck, only has 1 head. So this mountain peak that they call Baba Quavari, the name itself to the Tohono O'odham people means constricted rock. So that name really makes me wonder, okay, because now I guess when people are coming over the border, the Mexicans, they will call it the drum, which made me wonder, is it the drum that Shiva wears on his hip? Or could this be the mountain, that mountain wedge, that Vasuki, or Shesha, that the snake constricted for the churn? Could it still be there? Is he still coiled around the mountain wedge? Is this Vasuki? Or is this Shiva, who, because look, if you look right here, it almost looks like a snake coming off of his neck even. Like the head of a cobra right here. And it is wrapped around his neck. So it makes me think this could be Shiva or Vasuki. I don't know. I don't know. When they started churning the milk, the first thing that came out was the hala. And that was a poison that frightened all the gods. All the gods and all the demons were afraid of the hala. So Shiva appeared out of nowhere and consumed the hala. Some stories say it turned him blue. Some stories say Parvati had to constrict his throat to hold the poison in. And if you think about it, he is the king of dragons, right? So if he needed to incarnate into something to withhold the poison of the hala, I think he would have needed to be a dragon to consume such a thing. The dragons have that poison that runs through their veins. It's basically lava. And another cool thing, Vasuki, when they first started tugging on him, he spit out his own poison onto the demons, actually, and it weakened the demons. And so I wonder, all this, like, lava stuff that's just everywhere, it looks like it really just oozed out of somewhere, but I don't see a volcano over here. So I wonder, like this right here, could that have been the spit right here from Vasuki? When they first started tugging, it looks like just a big splatter from a snake. I don't know. This is crazy. It really is, but all the pieces are there. We have our Garuda, we have our tortoise, we have our giant elephant king, we have our Naga. And they say this churning went on for thousands of years. So within that 1,000 years, you think there would be some sort of record of it, right? Well, I think there is. I'll leave a link for this site here. Someone has already went through and found a lot of the same petroglyphs that they find in the Indus Valley here in America. So I'll elaborate on that in part 3. But now, let me introduce you to the Elephant King, Aravata. If you go to Wikipedia, you'll find a couple different variations on how he came about. One was when Brahma prayed over the eggshells of the Garuda. Another says he came out of the churning of the oceans. And I think it is a really cool coincidence that we saw all these rainbows over him that day, when it turns out they are associated with rain clouds. Not only is he the king of all elephants, he is also the mount of Indra himself. So you'll also see a lot of depictions of him with 3 or even 5 heads. Right here we have our Naga dragon. Right over here is the tortoise, the birdman, and the elephant right here. Now, I don't know for sure exactly if this is Aravata, but coincidentally, right over here, we have a place called Aravaka. vaca. So I wonder, is there another giant elephant over here that could be our elephant king? Aravata? Aravaca? Seems to be a pattern, the naming of these places. Quite coincidental, I thought. So looking into the lore of the elephants in Hindu mythology, I stumbled upon the Makara. This thing is cool. It's got dragon heads coming out of a mouth with an elephant trunk. And what's even more cool is they have actually found prehistoric remains of a creature similar to this that swam in our oceans. Right here. And if you turn them upside down, it looks just like the statues. Pretty cool. This thing deserves more investigation. As always, thanks for watching. If you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button and make sure that bell is ringing so you'll be notified here when part 3 comes out, where I'll be taking you to the local petroglyphs that might actually tell this story.